Egypt is one of the largest museums in the world, with great exceptions to many museums here, located all over Egypt. Well, when we talk about each of these museums, let me tell you something first of all, that you will never find something like this elsewhere in the world, because usually we say here in Egypt, when we talk about history and culture and ancient civilization, all these are the competitive advantage of our tourism products. Well, when we talk also about museums, this time we selected the Museum of Islamic Art, and here you will find a lot, many rare pieces and many of the artifacts. Well, in each section you will find something different and something that belongs to a different era. For example, here you will find many pieces, beautiful pieces, and here I'm talking especially about the woodwork. Let's find out together more about this section and more about the Museum of Islamic Art located in Cairo.
The Museum of Islamic Art is a masterpiece on its own, as most of its displays, if not all, are considered as rare collection that can never be found elsewhere. Chronologically, the museum collections of objects cover the period of the immediate pre-Islamic era of the 7th century up to the end of the 19th century.
The main hall, it contains the basics of Islamic civilization. The first important one, Al Quran, the Muslim holy book. This copy, considered the oldest and complete copy of Quran in Egypt, was produced in 8th century, was written by simple Kufic inscription by brown ink on parchment, and there are red dots on the letter to help a new Arab learner to pronounce the Quran as it revealed. And here, this is the second thing, Arabic language. Muslim very proud because Quran dictated by Arabic language. So they decorate everything around them by Arabic scripture. And Arabic scripture became one of the major art in Islamic civilization. This is mosque lamp, one of the lighting tool, back to Mamluk era, decorated with Arabic scripture, Naskh scripture, decorated with verses of Quran from Surah An-Nur. This particular part of Quran talks about light. And as we can see here, this cup, the shape of cup, it's a blazon. It's a functional blazon. It's referred to as a cup bearer. He was the one who responsible of the Sultan's drink. He must make sure the drink of the Sultan safety, not poison, for the safety of the Sultan. Every kind of lighting tools was lightened with different kind of oil, like almond oil, flaxseed oil, olive oil. Any one of these oil, when it burns, it gives you an aromatic smell. And here, this is astronomy or reading the sky. Astronomy was a Greek science, where Muslims learned it from them and developed it too. This group of astronomy tools Muslims need these tools to determine Al-Qibla, the direction of Mecca, because when Muslim pray, he must face Al-Qibla. If Al-Qibla this way, we must face this way. And also need to determine the lunar months, Al-Eid, Hajj season, and the most important astronomer was a woman named Maryam al-Istilabiya. She lived in 10th century, and she learned astronomy from her father. He was a star maker. Maryam al-Istilabiya became one of the role model to old and new generation until now. And this is door considered the largest door covered with all this amount of silver. Back to Muhammad Ali's era, this door belonged to As-Sayyida Zainab's mosque, one of our Prophet Muhammad's family. So we love her and we honor her. And the artisan left his signature in the front of the door. He was Jewish. Yahuda Aslan lived in Muslim society with harmony and love. And here, this is compass, wooden compass, covered with lacquer, back to Ottoman era, decorated in the center with the shape of Al-Kaaba. And here, the other part decorated with a map. This map contains the countries which Islam is buried in. And the lower part decorated with the name of this part, of this country. And this is copy of Kaaba key. It's rare, it's one of kind. Back to Mamluk era, decorated with Quranic verses and belonging to the Sultan Al-Ashraf Shaban ibn Hussein. This showcase talk about one of the most important religious ritual to Muslim, which Al-Hajj or pilgrimage. It's like a global conference. Thousands and thousands of people gather in one place with different cultural tongues and ask Allah for one thing, their forgiveness, His forgiveness. And this is here. This is talk about the people not from Arab country, Awar and Basin, Mamluk Iranian Qajari era, made of copper and covered with the enamel. The artifacts which belong to Iranian, it's like makes you like you standing in front of illustrated book, where every part of it contain like a story for these kings and the princes.
The first hall is devoted to display the newly acquired objects of arts by purchasing, gifting, or through excavations attributed to different dates and countries. The objects are temporarily displayed in this hall for a term of time, then allotted to their respective halls in the museum according to style or material. Moving around or traveling through time. This is the only things one can describe this tour in the museum. The second hall exhibits Umayyad-style objects of arts representing the first style in Islamic art. decorative arts are relatively few. The marble pavement of the hall and the narrow arcaded shelf to the left are Ottoman. But the third one is dedicated to the Abbasid and Tulunid art. This Islamic style was practiced in Egypt with the rise of the independent Tulunid dynasty, and it is characterized by the abstracted, unstylized decorative motifs within a pure Islamic spirit. The stucco, wood panels, metalworks, textiles, glazed and luster-painted ceramics represent in depth this rich Islamic style. The museum displays some marvelous wooden objects that reflect how skillful the Muslims were in the manufacturing and carving on wood. The art of wood carving has flourished greatly during the Fatimids era, when the wood was decorated and carved into two different levels, proving how skillful the artists of this period were. Some wooden decorations that were found in the complex of Sultan Qalawun in El Muizz Street that were originally brought from the Western Fatimid Palace in the area of Bain al-Qasrain in Islamic Cairo are put on display in the museum, and they illustrate how clever and creative the Fatimid workers and craftsmen were. Many of the wooden objects that were manufactured during the Mamluk and Ottomans period were decorated with mother of pearl and ivory. Then we moved on to the fourth hall, where one can learn more about the Fatimid style. The third Islamic style originated and developed in Egypt. On display, we have a selection of ceramic objects decorated in luster glass according to the same technique, and rock crystals. A unique collection of Fatimid textiles, not only rare in technique but decorations as well. The Fatimid woodworks, richly decorated in sun-carved arabesque, as well as molded and hammered metalwork, are beautifully exhibited. To learn more about Memluk style, just stop at the fifth hall to take a look at the Memluk arts. The Islamic art achieved a high degree of perfection along the 14th century in Egypt and Syria. On display, there are a selective choice of metal works inlaid with gold and silver, plated doors, lanterns, candlesticks, labels, Quran boxes, pen cases, vessels, and vases bearing the Sultan's names and titles. A unique fountain of marble mosaics lies in the middle of the hall. Marble and stone architectural elements and blazons are exhibited on the walls of this hall. The Memluk art began to decline in the mid-15th century. There is also an exquisite door originating from Al-Azhar Mosque, and it is displayed at the entrance of the sixth hall, going back to the year 1010 AD. Three unique transportable mihrabs used to fix the directions of the Holy Kaaba in Mecca are on display. The mihrab is one of the most important things to stand at in any mosque because each is unique and reflects different style. For those who are interested in old wooden objects and designs, just take a look at the Mashrabiyas style. made of beech and mahogany wood, and it was used at that time to provide privacy, shadow, light, and ventilation in installations. It is a type of projecting oriel window enclosed with carved wood latticework located on the second story of the building or higher, often lined with stained glass. The mashrabiyya is an element of traditional Arabic architecture used since the Middle Ages up to the mid-20th century. It is mostly used on the street side of the building, however, it may also be used internally on sahn side. A collection of mashrabiyas of turned wood originally from an Ottoman wikala in Rosetta, a big conical brass lantern from the Mamluk period. The eighth hall exhibits a rich collection of wood and ivory Ayyubid and Mamluk art on display, with wood decorative panels, mostly with calligraphic, floral and geometric carved designs. Wood panels with precise details inlaid with ivory and bone, as well as pure ivory panels and beauty aids, such as wooden bone combs, cosmetic ivory boxes, Quran boxes, and two pulpits or mimbars. There are also woodworks dating to the later Mamluk period, the 15th and 16th century AD, and the Ottoman period in Egypt, doors with geometric and inlaid panels and cupboard fronts. On display, a good collection of wood trinket boxes inlaid with ivory and mother of pearl, a variety of Persian metal works including different vessels, oil lamps, incense burners, mirrors and beauty aids. And a lot of these metal products are inlaid with silver. objects reveal the development of metalwork industry in Persia during the Islamic period. The 10th hall has some unique floral decorations and panels inlaid with bone in geometric forms, and a collection of mashrabiyas in turned wood, and in the middle of the hall, a marble fountain with a vertical column in the center, allowing water to escape from its top through tiny holes. The splendors of Islamic metalwork, mostly Memluk, are also on display. A huge wooden door at the entrance plated with brass on one side was originally from the mosque of a Fatimid minister going back to the year 1161 AD.